In this video, we're going to learn more about adding a resource. On Moodle, anytime you want to share information with a student that they may find useful in relation to the course, it is called a resource. The first resource we are going to learn about is how to add a label. To start, we first have to click our Turn Editing On button. Now, if you don't remember where that is, it's located here in the upper right-hand corner, or it's also located under the Administration menu, and it's your first option. I prefer to turn it on right up here, but you can choose either way. Now, before you click into either one of these menus that say add a resource or add an activity, take notice that you already have a space created for you if you want to add a label to the top of your space. This little hand with the pen located directly under the date is called Edit Summary. It's a special type of label that is already created for you. To add a label here, we're going to click this little hand and the pencil, and you now have the option of writing a summary pertaining to that particular block. This week, let's say the class will be discussing the history of Walt Disney World. We may want to make our label say something like Introduction to the History of Walt Disney World. So I'm going to go ahead and write that. This lets the students know that all of the information in this particular space will relate to the history of Walt Disney World. Once you're happy with it, you can save the changes. The students can now see the date range, and they can see the label that you just edited. Now to get more specific. If you have, let's say, assignments and resources that you would like to separate, you can make several labels and then move everything to its proper place. In this example, we have a list of resources and activities all bunched together. I want to organize them better, so after making sure my editing button is turned on, which it is, I will go to the Add a Resource drop-down menu and click Insert a Label. Now I'm going to name this label Assignments. If you want to change the size or color, you can do so by using the functions in the HTML editor, which is this box right here. Once you are satisfied with your label, press Save and return to course. You will now see the label you just created show up. And there it is. Now, we're just going to make another label entitled Resources the same way as before. So I'm going to go to the Add a Resource menu, click Insert a Label, and name this Resources. I'm going to save and return to course. So now we have these two labels, but if you notice, the documents are still not organized under the proper label. So to move these documents, you want to look to the right of the particular document you want to move. So let's do Test Resource 1. You want to find the symbol that looks like two up and down arrows. Now you'll notice each one of these activities and resources have the symbol next to it. So you want to click the right symbol that corresponds to the resource or activity you want to move. So I'm going to move Test Resource 1. And you'll notice that a series of dotted boxes show up. By clicking into the dotted box where you want the file to go, you will move the file to that destination. So since this is a resource, I want to move it underneath the label that says Resources. And you can see I have my Resources label, and I have the Resource 1 underneath it. Now we're going to go ahead and do this with the rest of the activities and resources just to organize everything. So for Test Activity 1, I'm going to find the arrows, move it under Assignments. Test Resource 2, move it under Resources. And Test Activity 2, move it under Test Activity 1, which is under Assignments. Now, if you want to see what it looks like without all the symbols next to it, you can turn the editing button off and take a look and see. So now we have the introduction to the history of Walt Disney World, and we also have our assignments label and our resources label. This concludes the tutorial on adding a resource and inserting a label.